It will be a cold start on the day, but we'll also have plenty of sunshine. But for high in Albuquerque, 56 degrees, and Santa Fe, 53. I'm Chief Meteorologist Joe Hughes.
Bonanza Creek Ranch in Santa Fe, New Mexico is a longtime location for shooting films. Several thousand acres, a number of buildings, lots of great views, all the things that people come to New Mexico to shoot for.
It's used for a lot of Westerns.
If you go back and look at different movies, you can see like, oh yeah, that looks like Bonanza Creek Ranch.
One thing you notice just as you're getting off the highway is there are these yellow corrugated plastic crew signs everywhere, kind of dotting the desert landscape, letting you know this production this way or this production this way.
Rust is a classic Western.
The story is about this grizzled outlaw named Harland Rust, and that was the character played by Alec Baldwin.
I read it and I said, I love it. I love it.
From the jump, Baldwin knew that he wanted to be the star in it, and he's also a producer.
This was a real passion project.
The ranch will become the meeting point for 75 crew members, 22 principal actors, and hundreds of extras. And they're all converging on the set with this singular goal of making the movie Rust.
Well, the first days on just about any set are exciting.
My first day on set, I'm like truly living a Western dream. Getting to be in my full cowboy garb and riding a horse and watching stunts happen. We're out here making a Western. That's classic cinema right there. And I know Halyna shared that.
Halyna Hutchins is the cinematographer.
Halyna Hutchins was born in Ukraine 42 years ago.
Make sure we don't see people walking around, like walking around.
Ready? Action. She originally was an investigative journalist before turning to cinematography.
Halyna's Instagram bio reads, restless dreamer, adrenaline junkie, cinematographer. She's married and they have a 9-year-old son. You can see them on her husband's Instagram.
In 2015, she graduated from AFI, American Film Institute, and then a few years later in 2019 was listed as a cinematographer on the rise.
Yeah, it's a passion for sure.
Yeah.
Once you get the bug, you can't get out of it.
Well, I wrote and directed a movie called Archenemy, and Halyna was my cinematographer on that film. Halyna's confidence was a kind of like quiet self-assurance. She would laugh a lot. She was a very sort of calculating, collected person who also had a deep reservoir of emotions.
It's more about, like, yeah, let's continue with everything.
She was, working really hard to establish herself in the film industry, and in particular, really a male-dominated branch of the film industry.
Okay, so setting up this one here, it's not raining. Can we start a couple steps further?
Yeah. There's this one image I have in my head. I think of a lot. She wanted to see what was behind a very high up window. So she sat on the shoulders of a tall camera department guy. It was a superhero movie, and she looked just a little bit like a superhero herself. In my mind, there's always like a spotlight on her whenever she's around everybody else. After Archenemy came out, I was getting a lot of calls from people saying, can you put me in touch with Halyna? We want her.
Rust was a big break, and it was an opportunity for her to just show how good she was.
Halyna was very gifted, and she had a vision, and she knew what she wanted, and she commands the room.
She would sometimes reach out and grab my arm and pull me over in front of the monitor. Be like, look how good they look. She just seemed to think that every single person here was here to create this dream, and that excitement was infectious.
Also on set, there's director Joel Souza and assistant director Dave Halls, and also first camera assistant Lane Looper, who meets Halyna for the first time on this project.
And we became friends pretty quickly.
Describe that working relationship between the head of the camera department
and the cinematographer of a film.
It's basically myself, the camera operators, and Halyna, you know, all creating the frame. Her friend Serge was the gaffer of the movie, you know, handling the lighting and everything, and I'm there to handle the camera for her. So it's kind of like it's a very close-knit team.
I know Halyna's maybe 5, 6 years, something. We understand each other. We trust each other. We have maybe same vision.
Film sets are instant community, and Rust was more tight-knit than most films I've worked on. Very, very quickly, we became each other's family away from home.
This is a $7.5 million movie. It is the catering budget on a DC Comics movie, okay?
And part of the low-budget nature of this film, they were trying to do more with less, producers even combining some crew roles for people.
They were insisting upon having one person do 2 very important jobs. The armorer role, taking care of the guns and ammunition, and then they wanted that person to also be an assistant prop person.
And this was a Western, so there were a lot of firearms in this movie. That's a lot of responsibility.
The person who's hired as both the armorer and the prop assistant is a young woman who's just starting out in her career, named Hannah Gutierrez-Reed.
Hannah was only 24, so being the lead armorer on a movie is a big role. Her dad is a man named Thel Reed, who is a very well-known gunslinger in Hollywood. He's especially known for something called the quick draw.
He demonstrated his quick draw ability in a video about the making of Django Unchained.
As you can see, it doesn't take much time to get around the fire.
Hannah Gutierrez-Reed has spent her life watching her father handle and oversee the use of firearms in any number of movies.
She's been raised around gun safety and all that stuff when she was a little girl. She's so safe with the guns, and the way she handles them, it's just, I don't have to worry about anything when I got her on the set.
You trust her on your sets?
Any set. Yes, absolutely.
Within days of getting the job on Rust, Hannah was posting on Facebook about how excited she was to have gotten this job, and she specifically noted excited to be working with Armory and to step into the world of props. Before the job started, on September 29th, just right after she had secured it, she wrote on Facebook, "How is it that life's been so good lately, I can't help but to feel like I'm about to fall from grace."
The tensions with the camera crew really started to grow.
Halyna, she wasn't her usual, you know, calm, focused, cheerful self.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.